Okay, so here we are. Welcome, Catherine. This is Martech Tips, and it is an honor to be with me. In order to have you here today with me, we are going to talk about uh, how this amazing Canadian artist is now taking her knowledge, her expertise online. So, welcome, Catherine, to Martech Tips.
Thank you, Pina, for inviting me. This is an exciting ride, and it's a pleasure to be with you today.
And as you can see, Catherine is place is full of color and beautiful pieces of art, and she's just been teaching for over 20 years. She has taught so many individuals, but she has a different technique and she has a different way of exploring creativity with her students. Can you tell us about how did you get started and how is that you get people inspired to paint that have never done it in their lives?
Well, I've been painting now for over 40 years, and I did have a little bit of training when I was younger, but really I started painting from a very early age, and I see color, behind me. You'll get a little example there, but I love putting color together. And so I just instinctually did it. It was kind of an intuitive thing. I didn't realize it at the time as a child, but as the years went on, I began to get this gut sense. So my trademark, as I say to students, paint from the gut. Use your colors and your tools. We lay things out in front of people, but we work together more as a team as opposed to me instructing. There's no right or wrong. I just say, go with your gut, go with your instinct, and look at it more as a treasure hunt of where you will get. Don't get too invested in, down the road, and, don't worry about where you were, 10 minutes ago. Just try to focus on the moment and see what happens when you put color together.
And that is amazing. And something that you were mentioning to me in previous conversations is how people with maybe too much stress, with levels of stress too high, they are always looking for you for your guidance and how your techniques have helped them to overcome that kind of situation.
That was an interesting thing that happened because as I taught, I'm known also as the coach who, if you've never painted before or someone told you can't paint, we usually through, the process can find a tool or a set of colors or a theme of work that you like to do. And then we can kind of use that as the entry portal into learning how to paint. But more recently, I found people who are just, trying to implement something into their health and wellness, or, want to see if they indeed have any creativity that, they want to explore. That's the other side of it, because now we're getting into an interesting chapter in what I do, which is I say, art is really life. Like how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you can learn to kind of get focused and be mindful and just relax, leave your ego at the door and just try to play, you'll get sometimes the best result.
And that is amazing. That is something that when people realize the magic that is behind painting and the amazing things that make you feel, and actually, it's a process that is a cycle that you can see the beginning and the end.
Yes.
So it's a process where you can truly go through an experience and see it through completion. It's not something that you leave the room, again, clueless. No, it's something that sentiment, that sense of accomplishment is something that is also important to release stress.
One of the most gratifying, magical things that I have the privilege of witnessing is I will meet someone, they'll come into a class and they'll be very quiet and they'll line up their paints. And before you know it, a few classes later, they're coming up to me saying, I cannot believe that I painted this. Like, how did this happen? And so there is kind of something magical in the sense that you're doing something and you have tangible evidence of like achieving almost like this impossible thing, right? And it is possible. Many students of mine over and over again go from thinking they can't paint and they end up in one of my art shows.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's something about visual, tangible, that you can put it in a place and see and remember how you felt. And yes, there's risk, and yes, there's vulnerability, but like we can work through that, and you get, you know, kind of this wonderful memory, and it's great, like, to share. I've had that happen as an artist, right? And now I get to sort of coach other people to go through that process. And then the best part is they'll be saying, you know, when I was working through that issue with the canvas, I'm kind of working through that at home or at work, and I'm kind of doing the same thing, and it's helping me. So it goes beyond, you know, when you're on the easel. That's what's great.
And thanks, Adrian, for showing Catherine's website. When you have an opportunity to show it again, click on online workshops so we can start talking about that. But before we get there, Catherine, you've been teaching for so long, face-to-face, live interaction with your students, but then this year something happened and you started teaching online. So let's start from what took you from the face-to-face to online.
Well, I'll tell you what happened, Pina. It's, you know, I'm only one person. And, you know, when I was painting one day, I thought, you know, it's great to have this wonderful live experience with people. And, you know, I that's what my days are. I get up and I coach people full days. And I thought to myself, I want to reach more people. I mean, how can I reach more people? It's to me, it's step by step. It's easy. It's fun. It's not such a complicated thing, you know. And someone sort of half jokingly said, why don't you make some videos? Why don't you make some videos and see what happens? So now I'm excited because, you know, when people say, like, what is your mission? I want to get as many people painting as I can. You know, it's just, that's when I have my shows and I see all of the beautiful work, and it's such a gratifying experience to see other people so happy and to share it with friends and family. And I've got a social media community now, and they all know each other. And so I'm just wanting to put this out there, and like to infinity, you know, because it's a really great thing to have. It's like any other form of art, singing or dancing, you know, it's a great thing that you can share with others too. Anything you learn, I have people teaching their kids, teaching their friends. It's just, you know, it's such a blessing.
And it's a multiplier effect.
It is. Yeah.
Once someone learned the technique, they can teach others.
Absolutely.
But, how comfortable were you putting these things online? Like, tell me, if you started just teaching online via Zoom, how did you get into marketing technology supporting an artist?
Well, you had the irony, of course, is I am having to practice what I preach, because many of my students say, oh, it's so, I feel it's a risk. I feel so vulnerable. I don't think I can paint. And, you know, can you coach me and show me how? And now I'm having to do exactly the same thing, incorporating technology in a way of communicating it, you know, to others. So I have had to learn many new things in terms of how to deliver this to as many people as I can. So for me, it's about, you know, how do we integrate this into art, into technology? So it's a very interesting process, but it's the same one. I remind myself, I said, what you're feeling now in learning all the new things that you need to, you know, have your online classes and do these videos and be dealing with all of the team of people. I'm very thankful to have a great team. It's the same process as someone feels in front of a blank canvas who hasn't painted, you know. It's the same vulnerability, but you learn to, if you believe and you have the right people and support around you, that it can be done. So, you know, I am chuckling these days in doing these videos, because it's the same creative process. It's just different. You know, someone's painting that hasn't painted before. I'm doing videos online that I haven't done before. You know, so it's fascinating.
Tell me a little bit about, so we know that you now have your online school, but
Yes.
do you have like workshops that people can connect via Skype, or sorry, via Zoom, or it's just the courses that you have on demand? How are you teaching online?
As a natural progression, more recently, I was asked to do online workshops, afternoon workshops, and you know, in the city where I am, there's clubs and other venues that had those requests. So I kind of got my feet wet, you know, in terms of technology, doing that live. So I do have, you know, on my studio options, you know, I teach live one-on-one, but I also do group workshops. I do corporate team building workshops, and now the exciting chapter of the online videos that people can, you know, they can get them and, you know, do them at their leisure and convenience. So it's I want to offer as many different options to people as I can.
Okay, that sounds good. And what do you think technology is facilitating you? Like, I know the process was a little bit scary at the beginning, but now, what is the most amazing thing beyond reaching new people? But in what other ways you feel that technology is helping you?
Well, there's no question. To me, it was part of my vision for what I am doing. Technology, without technology now, it would be impossible for me to execute and, you know, live my dream of teaching as many people as I can. I mean, I've taught hundreds of people to date, you know, in my own sort of way, and in terms of the hours of the day. But with technology, the thing that's so wonderful now is that, you know, we can do what we're doing. I can teach a live class privately, then I can go and do a group work class. People can be doing my videos 24/7 from around the world, whatever time of day it is. So it's like, it's a whole new potential out there, and there's, it would be not possible unless I had, you know, the means through technology to do that. And there's so many different ways, you know, as you have, a lot of which you have introduced me to, is it's like the sky is the limit. You know, it's a very, very exciting time. I mean, I hit, with my business, the pivot happened when there was one me and only so many hours in the day. So I had a choice, right? I could embrace technology, make the videos, teach, you know, larger virtual classes, or I would have to hire other teachers. And when I did the research and got the input, they wanted my particular style, right? So that's when I made the decision: embrace technology. It's there, it's waiting for you. Assemble a team that you trust, and here we are. So, I mean, this is probably, I would say, the most exciting, you know, pivot for my business, because of the potential of how many people I can reach.
Exactly. And just to make it global, a global
Uh-huh.
movement.
Uh-huh.
And going back to production,
Mm-hmm.
many people are scared or feel like they cannot produce something that they can sell on demand, like in any other side of the creative industries, not only painters, but musicians or script writers. Um, Tell us a little bit about your experience about working with your videographer,
Mm-hmm.
and what went well. What do you want to improve for next time?
Yeah. I would say I did have a little bit of a background in terms of, you know, set design, and I had a little bit of experience sort of online, like in front of cameras. So I knew what I had to do, what my role would be. The challenge is I think what I hear when other people say, oh, wow, like I've never been in front of a camera. I don't know how to set, my backdrop up, or, you'll hear a siren in the background right now. There's things that, sometimes we have to just go with the flow that happen. In my particular circumstance, I transformed what was part of my residence into, my shoot for my videos. I set it up, and when I tested it out with people, they thought that it looked just fine. So it's just paying attention to details. My biggest challenge, and you well know this, Pina, is with the sound. Getting the microphone situation, getting a big enough screen that you can sort of see what you're doing. And so for me personally, it was more the technological, because they're so important, that you are linked and that you have the right kind of system. So for me, I had to invest in a new system. You can't teach live off a tablet. That's what I learned very quickly. I personally need a big screen and a place to sit down and get organized so that I can do that. So there is a little bit of investment in trying out different things. I tried different angles and different places in the space that I had. I, of course, use my art as my backdrop, but for other people, things that matter to you, that can help express, what you're trying to communicate. Because again, what we know, I'm an artist, I live in the world of visual, but people love visuals, they love things like that. But to sort of reiterate, you really do have to learn. I've had a lot. My biggest learning curve has been the technology, learning the apps, learning, things through you, asking people, what do you use? What has worked, for you, and trial and error until you find a system that you're confident using. And as a last note on that, in terms of technology, we are very, very reliant on technology now.
Yes.
My business now is all virtual.
It's online. It's absolutely, it's portable. Like you can do it from
I
Toronto,
can do it anywhere.
you can do it from anywhere.
I taught from Nicaragua,
Exactly.
earlier this year. So it's the potential is it's amazing. When you have like an online business, you can take it wherever, and it also gives your community, your people, your clients, for me, my students, sort of a value add. If I'm overseas or I'm somewhere else, it's kind of in terms of setting a mood and the style of class I might do. I would tailor it to where in the world I am. So they get a little bit of a travel, while they're creating their artwork. So it's exciting. I just see that it is a very, very exciting time.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Before we end this episode, tell us a little bit about the courses that you have now in the school. Who's the target audience? What can you learn? Tell us a little bit about that.
So my paint on video classes are the tried and true favorites that I would teach to someone back in the day who had never painted. The great part about my workshops is you can tailor them to, your skill level and experience level. You can do it, I've taught kids as young as 4. I've taught people, all through the years, levels of experience, some of which have had, their physical, so you can really, really tailor it to where you're at. So they're all to do with color. There's a wide selection. We typically use different tools. So you'll be, you're not typically painting with a brush when you're with me. we use mediums, different things, and so most people comment that they haven't painted like this before. So they're off, I would say, the bell curve of a lot of classes there. And it's just the joy of color. We paint with our fingers. We paint with things that we would find in our kitchen. And the results are great. It's simple. You follow steps. You can pause whenever you want. They're usually sort of half an hour to 45 minutes. And you can make it your own. So I just take you through. It's a very calm, enjoyable experience. And I want someone to, when they do the video, I'm going on you've never painted before. And so when you sit down with me, I'm assuming that. And if you have painted before, maybe you'd like to mix your own colors, or maybe you would like to, add your own sort of customization to the piece. And I'd also love it, couples, parents and kids. Like it's something that you can also do.
A group activity.
Yeah, it's a great way to connect.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a question here from Connie Santos. How can I find info and cost getting classes for my daughter? So Connie, we are going to post, when we release the video, the link, but we have put the link before, is painton.thinkific.com, and it's Catherine Shea, and the various courses that she has online already are in this online academy. Catherine, it's been a pleasure for me to talk to you again. It's so inspiring to be working with you and to also learn from you and how you have helped hundreds of people to realize their potential, to be creative, but also to heal. And I feel that that's important part for people to try it out is exactly that, to be well. And to enter the wellness territory through art is amazing.
Well, and I want to thank you so much for the opportunity, Pina. And on a final note, I really do believe that it's within all of us. It's within all of us. So my mantra always is paint on. You will find something, and it's been such a joy for me, and I just want to share it with others.
Thank you so much again. And
thank you.
All the contact information is going to be on the description of the video. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.